This video is made for an adult audience. Hey big fans, welcome back to the Big Bakery, where all our jokes are half baked. I'm Jacob and today it's time to put in a new pedestrian area in my Lego city. I am back. I have been on holiday for a few weeks, but now I am finally back. I've been on holiday and that's why you've gotten something that wasn't city updates on my channel for a couple of weeks. I hope you enjoyed those interviews because I really enjoyed making them. Today, I will be putting in a pedestrian area in my Lego city. It's something I have been thinking about for a while and been trying to find the right resources for. But now, finally, by visiting a lot of thrift stores, I've found something I can use to make this pedestrian area. But without further ado, let's head over to the Bakersville and see what this project is going to be all about. And welcome back to Bakersville, everybody. This is one end of the city and the pedestrian area I'll be working on today is right here. I've been talking about previously how I would need to cut some base plates to actually get the right amount of room, and that's still true. I will have to cut something. However, I managed to find some very neat small base plates that can almost fit this area. I've actually moved the table around just a bit to fit these base plates a little better. These I found in a thrift store, so I hadn't really any kind of control of how many I would buy. There was just these two. However, I do have a solution for the rest of this area, which will need base plating as well. In my last city update, I started work on this building right here, and I will come back to that, but I thought I would start out with the pedestrian area because that will really add a nice finish to one end of my Lego city. So today is going to be all about this project right here. Of course, as I mentioned already, I do have these two base plates, which really helps a long way to get this done. But I have an idea for making this area come up with base plating as well. So let's head over to the building table and get going on that project. All right, here we are back at the building table. And as you can see, I've got some tools here that I don't usually do. This is, I think this is called a box cutter. It's a knife. It's very sharp, and yeah, I'm going to use this on this project right here. Of course, cutting board is a good idea when you start to cut things. The thing is, I do have these two base plates, which are great for the purpose that I'm going to use them for. And I actually managed to find this at a thrift store. Now, this is a broken base plate. You might be able to see it right here that this has been either cut or broken at some point, so I don't mind cutting this further. You can see this is an older base plate because of these white markings. This usually outlines some kind of footprint for a building that you were supposed to put on your base plate, but as it is broken already, I don't think there's any problem in actually cutting it once more, because luckily two of these base plates right here take up the exact same space as this little base plate right here. So that means I'll just have to have this, and I have all the base plate I need for the pedestrian area. So the project right now is to figure out if I can actually cut this with this knife. I think I can. I believe I saw that in a video somewhere at some point, but we'll just have to see how it goes. I really hope that this will go well. A funny thing I noticed just before I started recording is that the sort of space over here is a little wider than the space over here, which means if I try to attach these two base plates together on this side, we get this this weird gap, because it's actually not as tight as it should be. If I attach one in this end, you'll see that it's actually starting to slope upwards just a bit, but that's because the spacing here isn't right. On the other side, the spacing is too small, which means that I'm actually getting a small gap between the bricks down here. Might be a bit hard to see for you, but maybe I can show it like this. There's a small gap here, not too easy to see, but there is that. So it means that this base plate probably because of its age. Age is a little uneven on both sides. So I think I'll be cutting it this way. Or maybe this way. You know, I think this way will be the best. So we have these longer ends and can put them in either end of the display. We'll have to see. I'll try this out and we'll see how it goes. Now I'm going to use this existing base plate as sort of a template to cut along. I think that would be the best way to go to get a straight cut. And here we go. I've never done this before. We'll see how this turns out. There we go. There we are. That is the base plate cut in two. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. I've heard that before in other videos, to be honest. People usually say that when they've cut their base plates. So that was cutting a base plate. Now I have 4, and this wide gap down here, I think I'm going to put on either end of the whole display so it won't interfere with the general layout. If I could actually just cut this just a tiny bit on each end and it would be no problem at all. And again, everything's going to be covered in some kind of brick or tiles. And yeah, that means that any of these small, you know, this has been cut and it's not very straight, that'll be covered up with bricks anyhow. So yeah, here we go. These are the base plates, and on we go to showing you the ideas I've got for a pedestrian area. You may have noticed that this pedestrian area was very much on the end of my city, which means that I won't have to, but I think it would look best if I add some kind of fencing on one side, maybe not something that's too tall. And I'm also thinking I'd like to add a tree or two, and then actually just have a more or less, I don't know, uniform piece of tiled area. Now, I don't know if I have enough tiles as it is, but we'll have to see once I get going, because this is going to take a lot of tiles, that's for sure. But first off, I think I will be trying to design a fence, maybe using a lot of these 1x1 round bricks in white, because I do have a lot of those, and maybe easily even using some of these golden ones. I do have a lot of these gold bricks, so it might be a good time to use them now, but we'll have to see how it all turns out. So here we go, trying to do some kind of layout for a fence. So here I have attached all these base plates by adding a one single strip of 1x something plates out here, and now it all is coming together, and you can actually get sort of an impression of how long this is going to be. I am thinking of making a fence with these pieces right here on top, maybe do something like this. It's both a question of what I think looks good, but also a question of what pieces I have available. The black one here might look good, but I also have these very pieces in brown, and that might just be a bit better. Yeah, I'll have to experiment a bit with that. Maybe doing something with an alternate pattern of those might be good as well. I've also considered using these, but as this pedestrian area will be very close to a very huge dark red masonry brick wall, I don't think this will look too good there at all. So I think these are out of the question. What I will do is I'll try out using these black pieces right here in this combination that you see here, and I'll try with the brown as well. We'll see. So here we go, I have finished up this fence with the black and the white, and I like the amount of detailing that is achieved by using these 1x1 round bricks, and also adding these black profile bricks gives it a really nice look. Of course, finishing it all off with this fence up here really takes it all home, and I think I really like it when something is repeated this much, it really gives you a sense of calm in your city, I think. So now what I need to do is come up with what's going to be on the actual pedestrian area. Now what I need to remember is that there is a flight of stairs somewhere down here, which I need to accommodate in what I'm going to do. But I was thinking maybe, I don't know, if maybe a tree in the middle, a couple of places would be great. Maybe 3 of those. But I have to see. I think trees would be great to have here. I just need to sort of adjust for the fact that there are storefronts right here, and there's a big wall right here. So I need to keep that in mind when doing this. But other than that, I think a couple of trees and then some kind of pattern in the tiles would look great. So I ended up making these. These are planters, and of course they also serve another purpose, namely tying the base plates a little better together, so it's a little more sturdy and can actually stand transportation. But I like this idea of the planters, and I'll be adding some plants in here. I am just wondering what type of plants I should do. I could do the typical flowers with the sprouting thing. It could be small trees as well, maybe a small tree and some flowers, and it could also be some of those big green leaf plant things. So that's the next little part of this project. I think the idea with a tree in the middle and the small flowers around it might look good. So I think that's what I'm going to go for here. Let's try that out. So here we are. This is taking shape, the planters and the tree trunks. Now I am really thinking how on earth I could make those sort of the crowns of the tree, all the leaves, in an easy way. Of course, straightforward, you could use some of the leaf pieces, some of the many types of leaf pieces there are. Of course, these or these right here, and of course there's also something like this. That's a possibility, and I'm sure if I had enough of them there would be some kind of way to do it with these ones. But I'm wondering if it would look good with just a square with all the studs showing on all sides of green plate. That might look good as well. Maybe adding a few of these. Yeah, I think I'll try that out. We'll see how that looks. So this is what I think I'll end up with. And making a square like this is relatively easy if you have enough snot bricks. I think you can see most of what's going on here. I can move these right here so you have a better idea. Just attach some snot bricks like this and make sure you put some on top as well, so you have something to support the upper plates, and you'll get one of these lovely dice shapes. Now you might say, and you would be right, this doesn't look very natural, but no, I agree fully. It doesn't look natural, but in a pedestrian area like this, in my experience, the trees and plants and such are taken very well care of and cut ever so often. So seeing something like this isn't unlikely. It is very squarish, I will give you that, but that's probably more the limits of my capabilities in building Lego stuff than it is actually the possibilities within the Lego lineup. So yeah, now I'm just fiddling around with getting these on top here. A little difficult when it's not a 4x4 plate. I can recommend using 4x4 plates, but I simply don't have any more 4x4 plates to do this, so I'll have to use 2x4s instead, and that is a little more difficult as can be seen. there we go, one square, and then just put it on top of the tree. Boom, there we go. It looks like something out of Super Mario, maybe, which is kind of topical. There was just a new Super Mario line of sets within the Lego lineup. So on we go to making the last one. I am thinking I should maybe make the last one in a darker green just to mix everything up a little bit. And the last one is done, and on it goes. Now this tree is actually a little taller, and I am imagining that this means that this tree is a little older, which also means I have a reason why this is a little dark green. It's an older tree. Don't know if that makes any sense, because the leaves during the year would go from light green to, you know, darker green, eventually to yellow, reddish colors and brownish, and then eventually fall off. But in my mind, this does make sense, and I do think it looks nice. I think it adds something really nice to this as well. So yeah, that's good. So now I need to tile this, maybe add some small benches and other small sort of details along this pedestrian area. So I've added plants or flowers in the planters beside the trees, and now I am wondering if this should be the pattern down here. Now I think maybe this caramel brown color here might not look the best, but then again, if it is outlined by something that is darker, say dark gray for instance, it might look good. I haven't pressed these down yet because getting them off would be quite a hassle if you had pressed them all the way. But I think at least this path in the middle with these alternating dark red and a darker tan, that's the way I want to go. And I do think I want to do something with a straight line like these, but I am fairly certain that this color won't fit too well. So I will press all the dark tan and dark red in their place, but I will be working on another outline than these caramel colors. So I ended up deciding on a brown outline here, and I think that goes really well together with the trees. So you have this sort of repeated color which ties everything together. So that's really nice, I think. Now I am wondering, adding benches and such would be a great idea here, but I'm wondering if there should be one here, 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 and here. That might be a bit too excessive, so something else maybe? I don't know, but at least benches I think would be a great idea for now. These are the benches I've chosen to go with. It's very, very simple. Just some tiles down here, 1x4 tiles, and some of these hinged pieces with, I don't know what you call this. They sort of have a stop for every so degrees, so they can do like this, and a couple of 1x1 stud pieces down here, and I just put it on a full 90-degree angle so there's room for it, and I put it down here. And there we go. There's a bench on our little pedestrian area where you can actually sit if you want to. I don't know, maybe adding more here would be just too much. I think this looks really good. What I need to do now is make sort of a finishing line right here. Now this needs to be tiles as well because it needs to match with what's going on with the buildings along this line right here. So yeah, tiling this is probably the last thing I'll be doing right here. Of course, any kind of suggestions you may have for improvements or changes for this would be very welcome, and yeah, I'd love to hear it. So tiling this is the last thing I'll do right now. There we go, that's one pedestrian area that I have finished. I really like how this has turned out. All the colors and all the different shades that I've used, the different patterns and such. I think this all really goes well together. So now I can't wait to see this in the city. So let's head over to Bakersville and see how this looks. So here we are back at Bakersville, and let's see what this new pedestrian area looked like. Now, we have been watching this mostly from the side that's going to be turned towards everything else, but we'll see how it looks like. Here we go, like this. This is where it's supposed to be. I don't think this looks bad at all. I really like how this finishes off everything. Of course, we can have another look from another angle. This isn't bad at all. I really think these trees have the right proportion for this, and I also think that the whole pattern and just the general design fits very well with the rest of the city. And from this angle we can really see how it finishes everything off. It does look really nice, I think. Now the next project might be finding something that could be a backdrop and not just a white wall, which might look great with my city. But other than that, I do think this looks wonderful. Of course, a few pedestrians might liven everything up as well. And adding in some pedestrians in the pedestrian area really finishes everything off in a wonderful way, I think. I really like how this turned out. Very satisfied. Yeah, a great detail to add in my city, I think, and a very nice way to sort of finish off this end right here. So yeah, I'll get back to me and I'll say thank you for watching. Today I built a pedestrian area for my Lego city, which really finishes off one of the ends of the city in a very nice way. I am very satisfied with the look of this. The colors and the patterning I think is great, and I like that Super Mario feel that there is to the trees. But what do you think? Please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be happy to consider all of your suggestions, because you usually have very good suggestions. But that's all for me today. I hope you'll comment, like and subscribe, and I will see you folks next Monday.